So, David, you're talking to the Assistant Minister for the Republic about the checks and balances in our Constitution. Was this something that was at the top of his mind already or not?
Well, I think, and he certainly said that they were concerned too about the situation under the pandemic, because there were serious instances where we saw the laws not being observed, that they were being exceeded by the authorities. And as I said, the argument that this did result in a better situation in Australia is not true, because if you compare Australia with other countries, it just does not stand up.
Well, let's compare it to the US, because we had a dramatic development in the United States yesterday that everyone's heard about. This excessive force of use of force by unelected branches of the government in Australia. How does this relate to what happened to Donald Trump in Florida yesterday?
Well, it is extraordinary and without precedent. What would have been done if there were something that you would seriously consider that President Trump had committed, some offence that he may have committed? What you would have done was have appointed a special counsel who would have then been separate from the government, somebody of great standing who would be seen as independent, like a royal commission in Australia. That special counsel would then have gathered evidence and would have put all that evidence together and decided whether it was worth sending it to a grand jury for a prosecution. But it would be completely separate from the government. Doing it through the FBI, which has a terrible record under the Democrat administration of politicising its activities, going right back to the very first thing where they tried to stop Donald Trump from being inaugurated. You might remember they decided that there was a case of collusion. They decided there was evidence to justify listening into all of the Trump campaign and also trying to stop the Trump campaign from getting into office.
And well, 6 years later, the FBI is still at it. Would they still be going after Donald Trump if he didn't represent a threat, still represent a threat, to the Democratic Party?
Well, what happened in their raid down there on the president's property down there in Florida was something which demonstrates that the Democrats are absolutely afraid of Donald Trump. They are terrified that if he stands again in the next presidential election, he will be elected as president. That's what they're frightened of, and they will do anything to stop him from standing in the next election. That's the whole point of this operation. They're prepared to do things which are illegal. They're prepared to find judges who are willing to sign warrants to go ahead with these matters. They found judges before. At the very beginning, when they created that untrue story, Hillary Clinton hired people to write a completely fabricated story about collusion with Russia. They knew it was untrue, but still the FBI went to judges, and the judges gave permission for warrants to be issued so that they could listen into the Trump campaign and try and stop his election.